This meeting is being recorded.
Welcome to the Dr. Digital podcast. This is the Dr. Digital, and my special guest today is Jeremy Poland. And look at the way he advertised himself. He's an SEO person, a digital marketer, but he's also a cool dude, a husband, a father, and a believer. And in this age of identification and self-identification, isn't it interesting that some people will take a leap of faith and say exactly who and what they are? So some of you are familiar with my background. I got a novel. I was a father at one time, and I wrote about being a father. So I can relate, and a believer as well, too. So
wonderful. Amen.
If you're interested, by all means, join the Burning America community, because one of the things that we do there is to people update on these kinds of issues, these and other things. But also want to welcome one of my sponsors. This is JJM Advertising. That's a great article. It's why quality over quantity is the key to effective content. And with that, I want to welcome Jeremy to the show. Thank you for taking some time out today. And tell us all about your background as a cool dude, a father, a digital marketer, and a believer. All those things.
I like that. I'm going to have to add cool dude to my my description of myself. Yes. I am married. My wife and I have 8 children.
Nice.
I am a Christian, and I'm thankful for the blessings God's given me. Life is challenging, but there's so much grace involved in this. I actually was a Baptist pastor for 15 years. Yes, so I went to seminary and had to enjoy a great time with that. And I discovered an interest in writing, like you. I've written a book independently published. It was on dating, Christian dating. And I quickly discovered that nobody was really going to promote my book except myself. And being independent. And so it led me down a path of discovering online business, podcasting, WordPress, website building.
Sure.
And right from there, the next junction step was SEO. And I really fell in love with the process of building websites, but working on making them relevant to Google search in particular. I focused on Google search even more than ads. And there's, of course, a wonderful place for paid ads. But I know that I ignore paid ads the majority of the time, and I'm most interested in seeing either the map results or the organic search results for my particular search. And so I enjoyed studying, I call this the spy aspect of SEO, studying the backlinks or the behind the scenes, the under the hood of high performing websites in various niches or categories or blogs. And so that was really my start into SEO. I had a few clients as a side project. I built websites, and a few people said, well, hey, can you help us rank this website? We'd like to rank higher for our services when people search, obviously. And so with that, promise, yes, I'm going to help your website rank higher. I really had to jump into how do I do that? What will make a website rank higher, especially when detailed content really wasn't necessarily the game. They had a page for the service, so the competitor and my client had the same material on the page, if you will, for pest control. What made one rank higher than the other? And I quickly discovered it was backlinks. And then the question became, well, how do we get these meaningful backlinks? And that's really the sort of the start of my big journey.
So I think you're kind of hinting at it, but I was curious about some of the changes that you might have seen since you started. And what would you say are some of the changes that you've seen in the industry?
Great question. I definitely have seen the role that social media activity plays. Google definitely is interested in the social signals. How many people like your Facebook page? How many people are commenting, interacting? And that is a growing factor for sure. It's now an SEO mandate to have social icons on your website that link, or display your social pages. And that's on every SEO checklist. And what that does is that obviously helps Google, validate and know more about your business, your site, your website, your platform, etc. And Google definitely. So the social aspect is big, and some people do well with the social, and some people need to do more, obviously. And then the other aspect I think that's changed is Google does really look for meaningful content now. And I think that has grown in it, meaning that if the subject is how to kill ants, and the search is killing ants, then that to rank, you're going to have really good information about killing ants. And it's not going to suffice to have 2 paragraphs about killing ants. You need pictures, video, really need to like break down this process. So I think content is more important. Social media, or the length and the quality of content, and then the social media activity. But really, the center of the fulcrum still, and the biggest missing element for small users or newer websites is backlinks. It's still the primary factor. And I know there are people that might argue or have a different view, but the difference between pest control company number 1, 2, and 3 in a suburban market is going to be the number of backlinks almost every single time. I mean, so, and you can tell who spent more on their website, a little bit better performing under the on-site, the load time is faster, that the text is better, but ultimately it's those backlinks that kind of build the foundation. I mean, and that's what makes the difference between a top performing e-retailer, where you type in a search for lampshades. Only a very strong website with a lot of backlinks is going to have a chance at ranking for lampshades. So that's just how it goes.
Are there some hot growth areas? And I think you've addressed in one sense the search aspect, but hot growth might be some other aspects of social media, or ones that you haven't mentioned, like people will bring up newer ones, TikTok, or the younger folks are interested in some other things. Are there some hot areas that you think currently?
No, TikTok is definitely super hot, especially for younger users, as you mentioned. I've been encouraged, and my wife and I are doing more on TikTok with our SEO business. In a sense, the landscape is a little bit wide open and clear. There's not a whole lot of material yet, if you will, on TikTok. But I would say for the majority of your listeners, YouTube, I think, is a place for people to give deeper consideration, because YouTube is the number 2 search engine in the world. And they use the same Google algorithm, the same methodology. So it's a lot easier to rank for something on YouTube than it is in Google. So you can come with your niche video about killing ants with organic products, and you can really appear quickly on YouTube. And there are SEO tools that can show you search volume within YouTube, competitiveness. So the same SEO procedures can happen within, for YouTube. And so I think that's kind of uncharted territory for some people.
So would you be able to say, just, say you said certain industries like, ants or what have you, but would you say there are certain things that a business owner ought to be considering or thinking about based on your background and based on what you can do for a business owner?
Yes, I think the majority of business owners need to be thinking about how they're building backlinks. It doesn't need to be an all-consuming, but concept, but it needs to be a part of their marketing plan. And it would be negligent, I would say, to be missing entirely from a marketing plan. And building networks is really backlinks is akin to networking online. I would definitely say they should have a plan for how they're going to move that ball forward, because their competitors in general are going to be doing that. And so I've got a set of special plays where we can take like a podcast, we can take a book, we can take an event, and we can turn that into SEO benefit. So I've got a set of backlinks opportunities just for authors. So an author can take their Amazon what is it, the ASIN number, and establish themselves as a legitimate author, and then build 20 or 30 new meaningful backlinks just from their book. So that's an example. And then the backlink can tie to the business page or the blog or whatever destination the author chooses, So I actually, let's see. I've got to pause, Mick. My wife's relocating me. Is that okay if I pause and